Tuesday, October 31st, NBA Betting Picks edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog has just added Pick'em Scorchers where you can win 100x. Plus, every Sunday, they're giving away $100,000. Use promo code SGPN at Underdog Fantasy for a 100% deposit bonus of up to $500. We're also brought to you by Hall of Fame Bets, the sports betting research platform for player props, parlays, and game lines. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit HOFBets.com and use promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month and start making smarter bets today. Plus, the MMA Gambling Podcast just launched their YouTube channel. To celebrate, we're giving away a MMA Gambling Podcast hoodie. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/MMA hoodie for all the details. Welcome, everyone, to the NBA Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. It is Tuesday, October the 31st, currently 11:07 on the East Coast. Here to get into the betting card for the Tuesday action. Only 3 games on the schedule, but maybe some bigger news to talk about that transpired late last night in the association. I know it's the NFL trade deadline, but we got some NBA trade to talk about here. But joining me here to help me break it all down, I got the superstar of the show, the villain himself. It's Terrell Furman Jr. Terrell, how's it going, my man?
Man, I would be so interested in this Clippers team if this was about 5. Is it 10 years ago now? I think I'd be interested
like
10 years ago.
2014, 2015.
Yeah, about 5 to 10 years ago, I'd be really, really interested. It just feels like this is one of those teams. But hey, I mean, okay, so maybe my Clippers missed the playoffs won't hit. Fine. Perfect. Well, I'm not gonna count myself out. I'm not gonna count myself out. I've had worse odds, and I've had more stacked against me, and I've had more things go my way than the Clippers trading for James Harden and potentially missing the playoffs. So, wow, I'm not thinking about the ticket. I'm not saying that it's completely dead, but I'm just not thinking about it. I actually have the ticket up in a box in a cabinet, and it says only open in case of emergencies. And so we'll see. I'm not going to bash them because this was the trade they needed to make.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they kept Kawhi, and they kept PG, they kept Russ. They just added him in and got rid of some depth pieces. And first of all, what draft picks did they trade? What draft picks did they have to trade?
That's a great question.
And everybody, every single outlet keeps saying multiple picks, but nobody tells me what picks. What picks did the Clippers have left to trade? They got rid of everything. So I just, please, somebody in the chat, youtube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast. I mean, not Sports Gambling Podcast. That's the other show. Forget them. youtube.com/NBA Gambling Podcast. Please come in the chat and tell me what picks did they give up, because I have no idea what picks they own.
So what I'm seeing here is it says 2026 Clippers first round pick via OKC, and then a 2028 Clippers first round draft pick. So I guess they had their own draft pick in the 2028 draft, and then 2 second round picks, and then 1 pick swap. So it seems like they don't have any picks left till like the 2030 season.
Picks don't exist. Like,
I
mean, I guess you said 2026. I guess that's the closest time. What's that? Still 3 picks. Picks are not real. Picks are not a real thing. They're a figment of your imagination.
So if you're just waking up to this news, James Harden officially gets traded from the Philadelphia 76ers to the LA Clippers. Players that are involved, I guess we should start with that. So it's James Harden, PJ Tucker. They are headed to the Clippers for Nick Batum. Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, KJ Martin, and then also the draft picks that I just mentioned. So all the rumors and all the things that we heard about James Harden wanting out for a second or fourth consecutive season, seems like, comes into fruition. He is now headed to the Los Angeles Clippers, where he wanted to end up. And now you have, like Terrell mentioned, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. This would be a squad back like a couple years ago, but we'll see what kind of transpires. But I think when we talked about this team, Terrell, on paper, may have been one of the deepest teams as far as surrounding supporting cast members around a healthy Kawhi and Paul George, but not anymore. Now it's a star-studded group with with obviously with Harden, Russ, and PG and Kawhi. But does this really move the needle for you?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't move the
Me
needle for
neither.
me at all. But honestly, on paper, it sounds really, really good. It really does, and it makes it interesting because you have two former league MVPs, you have a former champion and Finals MVP, and then you have Paul George. And so
I like how you said, and you got Paul George.
I mean, he doesn't have anything for me to hype up. I was trying to think of this bit before we came on the show, and I'm like, dang, how do I hype up Paul George?
All-star
Nobody cares
appearance.
about all-stars. I don't know. I was like, he doesn't have anything. He's just Paul George, and we just know he's good. So I mean, you got Paul George still. The funniest thing about this trade for me is really not this trade, but it's just James Harden as a whole. Because one, James Harden has now convinced 4 teams to trade away their future for him.
Yeah.
4 different teams have traded away their future for James Harden in the course of what, 11, 12 years, something like that.
Yeah.
And so the funniest thing is that the first trade, listen to the trade package of the first trade when James Harden got traded from OKC to Houston. 2 future first round picks that ultimately became Mitch McGary and Steve Adams. Wow, Mitch McGary, don't know who that is. Mitch McGary. You got Jeremy Lamb, who was playing decent ball around that time. He was a role player. Yeah. And Kevin Martin. Kevin Martin was in that trade.
Yeah, I remember that was a Rockets trade. Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
And now, that's 11 or 12 years to the day. You have KJ Martin getting traded for James Harden. he got traded for both Martins. This is ridiculous. How does James Harden consistently convince people to trade away everything for him? And no, PJ Tucker's not ignored in this part of the trade. I think he's probably the best part of the trade for me, honestly. And because now it somewhat tells me that they're still committed to defense. So I think that'll be interesting. Like, I think defensively, they actually kind of match up with some of the teams out west pretty well. But I don't know, man. We'll see, man.
Yeah, we'll see. I think, again, Tyloo has some more things to figure out now with this rotation. I mean, I saw Harden and Russ try to make it work together here in Houston. Obviously, that really didn't pan out for them because you have at least 3 different guys that need the ball to be effective. I know Kawhi can get it done for you on the defensive side. Maybe Paul George there as well, but we know Harden and Russ need the ball in their hands to be effective. But, man, we'll see. I mean, we knew that eventually that Harden was going to get traded. It was a matter of when and not if. But enough about the Clippers. What do you think this does for the Sixers? Because this gives them some much added depth. Robert Covington going back to the Philadelphia 76ers as well. I liked KJ Martin when he was with the Rockets. He gave him, some athleticism. A guy that can get up and down the court, can play some defense, can jump out of the gym. Nick Batum, another solid defensive guy. So I think defensively, this Sixers team is going to turn out to be pretty good. But I think the biggest winner in this is all the people that are holding the MIP tickets on Tyrese Maxey, because now he's going to be the full-time starter there for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, and so this is where Nick Nurse can really earn his money. Yeah. Because when you think about 2018 and you think about the makeup of the league now and the league then, Nick Nurse got it done with one quote-unquote star there and some potentials. Fred VanVleet was on the rise at that point. Pascal Siakam on the rise at that point. But it was really just Kawhi. And ultimately, if you flash back in time, people will be talking and they'll be like, yes, Kawhi and a bunch of other guys. That's ultimately what this kind of is. Joel Embiid and a bunch of other guys. Maxey on the rise. He could be that guy for him. He really could. So Maxey on the rise. If Oubre plays like how he did against the Bucks, now I know he just owns the Bucks, and shout out to me for calling it out. He just owns the Bucks, but I mean, he could potentially be a really nice piece for him. Like, they have a whole bunch of guys that can really play well if they lock in. But I do kind of wish they had that point guard position more, solidified. That's something that I really would wish they had, but we'll see, man. This could really be Nick Nurse earning his money because It's different players, but the idea of the team of having that one superstar player and then a bunch of other role players that know to play their role and will play really well, and maybe you have that one other guy that can take over in moments like a Maxi can,
Mhm.
then they might be able to make a run. I don't know if they'll win a championship, but it won't be anything different.
Yeah, and I can think that again, the Sixers can still go out and make a trade. When we get to the trade deadline, now they have assets that they can potentially put together in a package with the draft picks or whether it's players that other teams need. So as far as depth goes, I mean, there's guys, defensive guys like we mentioned on this roster that can help other teams. So again, I think Morey did pretty well for him from a trade standpoint here. The job got done here. So um yeah, I didn't have anything else much to add. I mean, I think we talked about the futures here for both teams. Anything else for the trade here, Terrell, that we want to get off your chest?
No, we can keep it going.
All right, before we get into the 3-game schedule here in the association on this Tuesday night, let me tell everyone about Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy has a way to play alongside your favorite football team all season long. Underdog has just introduced Scorchers. Go 5 for 5 and pick up Scorchers and enjoy a spicy 100x payout. And for a limited time, Underdog is extending their first deposit bonus of up to $500. $100,000 Sundays continue on Underdog Fantasy. 10 lucky players will win $10,000 each. So watch along, make your picks, and maybe make a little cash over on Underdog's mobile app or website, underdogfantasy.com. And when you sign up with promo code SGPN, Underdog will double your first deposit up to $500. Again, that's Underdog Fantasy using promo code SGPN. And hang on till the end of the episode. We'll put together an Underdog entry for the schedule here tonight. And also, the MMA Gambling Podcast is running a contest. They just launched their YouTube channel. In honor, we're giving away a MMA Gambling Podcast hoodie to one lucky winner. Head over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/MMA hoodie to submit your entry today and make sure to subscribe to the MMA Gambling Podcast on YouTube. All right, Terrell, we only have 3 games on the schedule here for tonight. Some definitely intriguing matchups for sure. Let's lock into the first one to kick off the night here. We have the New York Knicks. They are in Cleveland to take on the Cavaliers. Currently, as it stands, a lot.
Stop cheating people. Stop cheating people. This is now 2.5.
Oh, sorry. Let me change this.
No.
Let me change
Yeah.
this.
Stop giving us too much credit, Munaf.
Timeout. All right, timeout.
He's trying to get. See, this is what they do. This is what they do when I come on the show, people. This is what they do. They try to give mistaken lines because they're trying to catch me in something. They're trying to get me to admit the Knicks are a good team. They're trying to do it. 2.5.
2.5 is the current line right now for the New York Knicks visiting the Cleveland Cavaliers. Total is sitting at 213, 213.5. All right, let's look at the injury report here for both of these teams. So for the Cleveland, or let me start with the Knicks here because they have a pretty clean injury report. Don't even see anything listed for the Knicks. So let's just talk about the Cavs then. So we know Jared Allen is going to be out of this game. He's dealing with a left ankle bone bruise. And also Darius Garland is going to be missing this game as well. He's dealing with a left hamstring strain. Donovan Mitchell is listed as questionable, but I do expect him to play here tonight. So 2 of the 5 starters are missing for the Cleveland Cavaliers in this game against the New York Knicks. And like Terrell just mentioned, this line just went from 3.5 to 2.5. But Terrell, let's start with the side here. What are you thinking? 2.5 in favor of the New York Knicks.
Yikes. I mean, it doesn't look good because I think what everybody is thinking of and everybody's betting on is what happened in that playoff series. And the Knicks were absolutely dominant in the playoff series where they went and beat this team in 5. Mm-hmm. And neither team scored over 50 points the entire series. So no Garland, no Jared Allen is brutal.
Yeah.
But I'm still rolling with Cleveland. And I think it's more because Cleveland added a lot more on the outside shot for me. And it's just more of a fade of everybody that's probably taking the Knicks here and thinking that the Knicks are a good team. And I don't think they're that good. Like, I really don't. I think the Knicks are okay at best. There's a lot of questionable moments that I have watching the games of where I'm like, I see this team trying to break through and be good, but really, really not. And whereas you have Cleveland and Donovan Mitchell, and I think that he's going to actually really give them buckets this game. Like I
Oh
think that
yeah.
Donovan Mitchell is going to give them. I think he's going to do majority, if not all, the scoring. I think
Mhm.
that this is an opportunity for Evan Mobley to kind of wake up and be that guy. Like you, all right, Garland's out of the way. Jared Allen's out of the way. You're the only person in the paint. You're gonna be getting the touches. They're gonna look for you to score. Go out there and score, man. So I think that Mobley and Spider will be able to really dominate a lot of the offensive production in this game with, tossing some Strus in there, able to hit the outside three. He's been big for him early part of this season. I
Mhm.
still like their defensive intensity. I think that this is still going to be a little bit of a defensive game. I don't expect it to be as low scoring as only scoring 50 points in the playoffs as both teams did every single game, and neither one got above 50 because that playoff series was horrible. I'm taking the Knicks here. Not Knicks. I'm taking the Cavs. I'm sorry. They didn't got me all that saying I'm taking the Knicks. I'm taking the Cavs plus 2.5 at home. I think it's a good spot for them and looking for some revenge. We had a lot of revenge games early on this season.
Yeah.
I'm taking them to get some revenge. Give me plus 2.5 with the Cavs. I think they still find a way to get it done, even though they're shorthanded.
Yeah, I think that for the Cavs, they just have to make a better effort on the defensive end of the basketball. I know last year they were one of the best, if not one of the best, if not the best defensive rated team last season. And I know still early on, they've only played 3 games here, and we're still gathering data, right? But their defensive rating right now, as it stands, they're number 23. Number 24 as far as defensive rating goes for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And you mentioned Evan Mobley. He stepped up in a big way in his last game. I think that was without Donovan Mitchell as well against the Pacers. Unfortunately, they lost that game, but he did have 33 points in that game. He chipped in with 14 rebounds as well. We'll talk about player props here in a second, but I'm with you, man. I like the Cavs here in this spot. Right before we got on, this line was at 3.5. Now it's down at 2.5. So it seems like money is coming in on the Cavs here. I like the bounce back spot you mentioned. I think that Donovan Mitchell will have a huge game here tonight against the New York Knicks. And I like the spot for them. I think they'll lock in defensively. You already mentioned the total at 214 now is the number. Still some 213.5s out there. Seems like trending towards moving up on the total here. Would you have any thoughts on the total?
Yeah, I'm still going to the under. I'm still going to the under here. And I think that it's going to be more of just a little bit of ugly basketball and less opportunities to go different places with the basketball more than it's just to see these two teams really good scoring the ball. I think that, no Garland, like that adds into the total. I'm kind of concerned because you're losing the rim protection of Jared Allen,
Yeah.
but it feels like Mobley should be able to slide into that spot pretty well and still guard the paint pretty well. But no, Jared Allen really is the only thing scaring me off the total. I lean under. I don't think I'm betting it.
Yeah, I lean towards the under as well. I just don't trust. You mentioned that number one, you don't have one of the tall trees in there, Jared Allen with Evan Mobley, so your defense, it's going to take a slide, obviously, when you're missing a guy like that. And defensively, again, like I mentioned, the Cavs haven't gotten off to a good start here. They've given up points. They have 125 to the Pacers in their last game. The Thunder game, that was a low scoring one, 108, 105. And then against the Nets, they gave up 113 where they squeaked by the victory by Donovan Mitchell hitting that 3. So lean towards the under here. I think the player prop market is probably a little more intriguing for us here, Terrell. I know you mentioned Spider. I know you mentioned Evan Mobley, but what are you looking at least for those two guys?
Yeah. So, and I seen, who was it, Kaysen in the chat talking about Mobley over 12.5 rebounds. I had looked that way, but it really wasn't much that kind of made me feel pretty solid about that play because he struggled in these games and to put up pretty big numbers. He has a 13 rebound game in the playoffs, but rest of that playoff series 11, 10, 9, 8, and this is all in 30 plus minutes of action.
Yeah.
And then you look at what he did in the regular season last year, 7, 7, 10, 7, 12, 9. I know he's been rolling recently, but I think this might be a little opportunity to kind of get down on that under if you're questionable. I'm not going to take the risk, but I don't know if I'm backing over 12.5 with Evan Mobley today. It's all Spider for me. I mean, he averages 7 assists outside of with Darius Garland out of the lineup, 7.2 assists last season with Darius Garland outside the lineup. And I believe his assist prop tonight is at, do you see that?
Oh, you're looking for Spider?
Yeah, I think
6.5
it's 6.5
at even money.
Yeah, 6.5 at even money. I'll take that. He's averaging 34 and 7 with Darius Garland out of the lineup. I'll take
Mhm.
both of those as points prop and as assist prop, and just say that Spider carries this team to a win. And he probably needs a double double to get this team to a win. Honestly, like it can't just be him. He has to get somebody else going and somebody else adding. And I do think the Cavs somehow win this game. This just feels like a Knicks letdown spot. It really does. And so I think that Darius Garland actually does get there. So I'm willing to sprinkle on his double double as well. I think that he's going to be facilitating the ball, trying to get other people going. And then in the second half, he's going to take the game over.
Donovan Mitchell's double double. Let me see if I can find the price on that. Plus 360.
Plus 360. I like that.
Yeah.
I like Mobley blocks, though. I do like Mobley blocks. I
Let
think
me
the Knicks are going
see.
to challenge him on the inside, and he's going to come up big a couple times.
Why is he not listed? I don't see his props anywhere for Evan Mobley.
Let's see here. I
don't see it on DraftKings.
I don't see Mobley props.
Let me
That's
check
weird.
another. Let's see. Okay, so FanDuel has some here. Blocks for Evan Mobley is listed at nothing yet for him. But again, nonetheless, you do expect Mobley to play heavy minutes here tonight, obviously. With Spider out there as well. I think one guy you mentioned as well that I'm looking at is Max Strus in this game. We know that he's going to get the 3-point attempts up. And you take a look at the number of minutes that he's just been playing these first 3 games for the Cavs, man. 42 minutes against the Pacers. I know that was without Donovan Mitchell, but then 38 against the Thunder, 39 against the Brooklyn Nets. So, he's getting the minutes. Excuse me. He's also getting the 3-point shot attempts up as well. He's averaging 11 attempts per game. 2 games he knocked down 4 and then 7. He had a bad shooting night against the OKC Thunder where he only went 2 of 11. But he's also been doing pretty decent on the rebounds as well. So he has 2 games where he's been in double-digit rebounds. He had 11 against the Pacers, 12 against the Brooklyn Nets. I don't see his props listed yet either, but I was looking either at Max Strus's 3-point shots made or his points and rebounds to go over here tonight because I think that he's going to continue getting the minutes here, especially with the injuries with Darius Garland more in particular in that backcourt. So I expect him to be out there heavy minutes. I agree with you about Donovan Mitchell. Again, I think that if Cavs are going to win this game here tonight, you're going to see a big night from Donovan Mitchell. His points prop is at 30.5. So I think that's what kind of the books are telling you, what they think about Spider here tonight. Anything on the Knicks side for player props here, Terrell?
Let's see. I can get behind.
I wanted to get your thoughts on Mitchell Robinson's rebounds, but go ahead.
I was gonna go Randall. I was thinking Randall rebounds. The Knicks are gonna dominate the glass. It feels like that's how this is gonna turn out.
Yeah.
And it's just like take your pick between which of Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson is it gonna be. And I would say Randall, but okay. I'm not opposed to Robinson. I actually think both of them can cash this prop. Evan Mobley is not enough to get it done on his own.
Yeah, 100%. So I was looking at Mitchell Robinson rebounds. He's had back-to-back games of 13 rebounds against the Hawks. And he had 15 against the New Orleans Pelicans. But the thing about Mitchell Robinson is that he really gets it done on the offensive glass. So against the Pelicans, 10 of his 15 rebounds were offensive rebounds, and then 6 of his 13 rebounds against the Hawks were offensive rebounds as well. So his numbers are currently sitting at 9.5. I don't hate the over on that for Mitchell Robinson. I'm waiting for Jalen Brunson to get it going here, man. I think that
his double-double was at 12-1.
Yeah, let's see.
Like what? That's insane. I remember we were getting Jalen Brunson double-double at 6-1 last year for the majority of the season. It's 12-1. Do they really not think he's doing anything else?
I think he's just gone off to a slow. I mean, not slow. Yeah, slow start. I guess dishing the basketball. He's averaging 5.3 assists, 6 against Boston, and then 5 each in the last 2 games against the Hawks and Pelicans. He's definitely jacking up the 3-point shot. I'll tell you that much. Averaging 8.3 attempts per game. He's also getting the field goals up as well, 18.7 through the first 3 games here as well. Do you see a points prop for him?
Yeah, I got Jalen Brunson listed at 21.5.
Okay. I mean, I don't hate that for Jalen Brunson, but. Yeah, I'm waiting for him to kind of come around for the New York Knicks. All right, do you have anything else for this game?
No, I'm good.
All right, let's get over to the next game of the night. We have the San Antonio Spurs. They are in Phoenix to take on the Suns. Let me check the updated line here. It is still sitting at 7.5 in favor of the home team, the Phoenix Suns. The total has dipped down to 1 point to 225 in this game. It was at 226. Looking at the injury report for these teams, for the San Antonio Spurs, pretty clean injury report. The guys that are out are either on assignment or two-way deals with the G League. For the Phoenix Suns, Bradley Beal is officially out for this game. Devin Booker is listed as doubtful with a left ankle sprain, and Damian Lee is continuing to recover from a right meniscus surgery for the Phoenix Suns. Suns thus far this season sitting with a 2-1 record. Their one loss did come against it was on the road. Remember that. It was against the Lakers, where they absolutely just did not show up in that fourth quarter, but they've taken care of business opening night against the Warriors and then their last game against the Utah Jazz. Now they bring in a San Antonio team with obviously Victor Wembanyama. They're sitting with a record of 1-2 so far this season, but Terrell, 7.5 in favor of the Phoenix Suns here. What are you thinking about the spread?
Does San Antonio still suck?
I mean, their only victory came against the Rockets in overtime, and they've been
that was an ugly like game. That was a really ugly game. I was on Spurs money line. I had it in a parlay, and there was multiple different times where I thought that slip was screwed and that the Rockets were going to win that game, and I was going to be wrong on the Rockets. I don't think the Spurs are that good. They got ran out of the gym against the Clippers.
Yeah. Defensively, this team is not good.
Yeah, definitely not that good defensively. I think this is a spot where they want us to – I think they're kind of tempting us to bet San Antonio. I did see this line dip down half a point, and I see money coming in on San Antonio, but I think they're just getting behind the Wembanyama. I think they're just getting behind Wembanyama on his team, but, like, he doesn't – there's not too many players that come into a team and just make a team good. And it seems bad last year. And they're proving to be bad this year. And yeah, I'm going to Suns. I'm going chalk. Where's my chalk? Where's my chalk drop? Because why is this not double digits? Really? Is Wembanyama the only thing not making this double digits? Even maybe if Booker was playing and Beal was playing, is clearly way above double digits. But even still now, this Spurs seems pretty bad. Like, where's the drop? I don't know how you can back this Spurs team.
I was going back and forth on the spread in this game because I feel like I'm having trouble trying to figure out who outside of Kevin Durant is going to step up for this team scoring the basketball. I know.
I mean, they got some dogs that you don't need a star to step up against the Spurs team. Like we've seen the Rockets do pretty well. They scored 120 plus points. Like you don't need a star. So Josh Okogie could really come up big. He's been playing big earlier on this season and stepping up. You could have, it's
been old man Eric Gordon for them.
Yeah, like Nurk on the inside could come up with some offensive rebounds and be a pretty nice spark and really challenge Wembanyama. Like that's what I think. I think Nurk's gonna have a pretty good game, but that's how I've kind of been eyeing it. But man, it hurts because one of my favorite players plays for the Spurs, but I can't back the Spurs team. They suck, man.
I'm gonna lean with the Spurs here, man. I feel like I like the depth on the team for the Spurs. I mean, we talk about the Devin Vassell's of the world, the Keldon Johnsons,
those are starters.
Jones. Yeah, Trey Jones as well, coming off of the bench for them. I think has been key as well. I know Victor Wembanyama. I think the first game against Dallas, he was in foul trouble. Maybe still. I mean, we've seen flashes.
He might be in foul trouble. He might be in foul trouble tonight.
Yeah, I mean, if he's guarding Durant, he's definitely going to get into foul trouble here.
I was about to say, he's fouling Durant on a couple of jump shots, like for sure. You can book that, take it to the bank, ask your bookie for a line. Victor Wembanyama fouls Durant on a jump shot because his arms are too freaking long, and Durant forces him to reach in. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Malachi Branham coming off of the bench for them as well. I mean, yeah,
Whoa,
I'll
slow
lean with
down,
the
Kason.
Spurs
Slow
here.
down, Kason. We ain't get there yet. We ain't get there yet, bro. Slow it down. Slow down in the chat. The
What
chat
happened?
wants to just speed through the process. Hey,
Um,
sometimes you got to take it slow. Sometimes you got to take it slow. Be real gentle. We ain't got there yet.
yes, we got time, man. You guys, Kason was the one yesterday saying that he loves long pods because me and Scott yesterday almost went like I think 100 and no, I think we went like 85 minutes yesterday for the 11 games. I'll lean with the Spurs here. You have anything on the total that you like at 225? Just dip down a point.
Uh, Not really. I'm still not feeling any totals this season yet. I kind of want some more data and kind of get a feel for
Yeah,
who these teams are offensively and defensively. Teams can turn on and off each given night. So I'm not on any totals too much these days, but I just feel like I got to go over with the Suns. I don't think I would ever really be interested in under with the Suns.
I think a first half over may be in play.
Mhm.
I think offensively the Spurs are good, but Suns defensively have been really good as well. I don't know. Again, they play the Warriors, they play the Lakers. Um, those are two obviously better than average offensive teams for sure. And they held the Jazz to 104 points as well. So, but I think they really clamped down the second half. So I think if we look at a total, it'll probably be first half over for me.
Mhm.
All right, let's get over to the player prop market here. Terrell, where do you want to start? What do you like for this game as far as player props?
Oh, you know where I'm starting. I mean, it's been a year and a half, maybe 2 years of just blindly, doesn't matter who he goes against, just blindly taking Devin Vassell points overs, man. Oh man, when I tweeted out before the season that if Wembanyama broke Devin Vassell, I would be heartbroken. And he didn't break him because Devin Vassell had 23 the first game, 25 the second game. He probably would have had another 20 piece if they didn't get blown out by the freaking Clippers, which they might get blown out today. So slightly concerned for a blowout. But I'm still rolling with Devin Vassell here. Oh man, they're not setting his points prop high enough, and it's probably just because he's not getting the respect and the Wembanyama aspect. Probably have a little bit of the Keldon Johnson aspect in there as
hmm
well.
hmm
But looking at what his points prop is now, you can get him everywhere around the league at 17 and a half.
Yeah.
Come on, people. Come on. Like, come on. We are going to absolutely destroy them with Devin Vassell until they give him the respect that he deserves as one of the top players. I need to go quickly find myself a Devin Vassell most improved ticket. I'm going to go do that today. Somebody's going to give me a line on that. Just stop disrespecting my guy. He's back healthy. He's reclaimed his role as the number one player on his team. Devin Vassell, over 17 and a half, 20 plus 190, 25 plus 490. They won't give me any more than that, unfortunately.
I see a 35 to 1 for his MIP award market for Devin Vassell.
Yeah, down on
Yeah, I
that. I
mean,
mean, he's great, man. He's great. It's just Wembanyama is stealing the shine. He's stealing the shine. We know who the alpha of this team is, and it's Devin Vassell.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned like Vassell's getting the minutes for sure. I mean, the first two games in games that weren't blowouts, 35 minutes, 40 minutes, he got up 17 shots and then 13 shots in that game. Been very efficient from the floor as well, shooting at 55% from the floor, 65.3 true shooting percentage for Devin Vassell. And like you, Terrell already mentioned the numbers that he has scored thus far this season as well. So yeah, I definitely do like that look as well. Casey mentioned it. The one I was looking at is going to be Nurk on the boards here. That number is currently at 9.5 for Yusuf Nurkic. And you take a look at what centers have done against the San Antonio Spurs this season. Trying to pull up those numbers here quickly. Let's filter this down to this year. So Şengün in the game against the Rockets had 14 rebounds in that game. Derek Lively in their opening game had 10 rebounds, and that was a game where he was coming off of the bench, but Jason Kidd started him in the second half in place of Maxi Kleba. He finished that game with 16 points and 10 rebounds for the Dallas Mavericks. Ivan Zubac in about 23 minutes had 8 rebounds as well. Mason Plumlee coming off the bench for the Clippers, 21 minutes, had 6 rebounds. So I really like Yusuf Nurkic to get over his rebounds. I think he's been I think one game he was in double digits rebounding this season already. So he had 14 against the Warriors. He had 9 against the Lakers. And that was a game I think he had like 7 or 8 in the first half, and he got one more rebound in the second half. And then he had 7 against the Utah Jazz in just 23 minutes. So that's where I'm looking at as far as rebounding prop in this game. Anything else you do like? I think I go Eric Gordon as well, man, on his points.
I think I still do like Wembanyama defensive stats. I mean, it's just so hard for him not to turn up with a steal or block. Like he accidentally walks into them at this point. I mean, 1.5, and they've already kind of adjusted the line. 1.5 steals is plus 120. 1.5 blocks is minus 165. I think maybe the steals and blocks combo for Wemby is maybe where I want to go. But that's 3.5 at plus 105. Like that's still, but it's like he turns up with it. Like he turns up and ends up getting, the plays. Like I keep sitting there looking at the game, not betting it. And then I'll look up and he'll have it was one play. He had 2 blocks in 1 possession for the Rockets against Jabari Smith. He had 2 blocks in 1 possession. I'm like, dang, if he didn't cash the prop by that point, he cashed it right there. So he had 6 steals and blocks combined in that game against the Rockets, 2 and 1 in the Dallas game, and then he had 1 and 1 in the Clippers game. But that won't not much playing time because they were getting killed. I don't know how you sit a young team while they're getting killed early in the season. Just give them the minutes. They need them.
Yeah.
He's a tough cookie to crack. He's a tough cookie to crack.
Yeah, and again, I think we go back to the first game against Dallas, right? That was a game where I was on his steals and blocks. It got to the window because they priced it at 2.5. But that was a game that he was a majority of that game in foul trouble for the San Antonio Spurs. Like you mentioned, got done against the Rockets, and then it was a blowout with the Clippers. So again, no reason to be out there, but he still logged 1 steal and 1 block for the Spurs against the Clippers. So do like that. Also, if you want to take a look at his turnovers, that's also at 3.5 at minus 105. He's had at least 4 turnovers in
every game. In every game. Man, these turnovers are crazy. 5, 4, and 5. Yeah, 100%. Makes sense too.
Okay, so I like those there a couple as well. Anything else for this game?
No, I really like that turnover prop. I'm adding that to the card.
Yeah, I really do like that as well. All right, before we get over to the last game of the night, let me tell everyone about Hall of Fame Bets. Win bigger by betting smarter this NFL season with Hall of Fame Bets, a sports betting analytics platform for player props, parlays, and game lines. Research every NFL, NBA, MLB, and soccer bet with historical stats and data. Enter any parlay idea into Hall of Fame Bet's revolutionary parlay optimizer tool to get hit rates broken down by leg, as well as an expected probability for the entire parlay. Sort all players by hit rate for any bet to learn which players are hot and which picks have value. Stop betting in the dark and join over 30,000 users researching with Hall of Fame Bets to craft more intelligent, data-driven parlays. Download the Hall of Fame Bets app or visit hofbets.com and use promo code SGPN to get 50% off your first month. Start researching, start winning with Hall of Fame Bets. And NBA fans, the wait is officially over. Basketball is back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an online sports betting partner of the NBA, is celebrating with an unbeatable offer. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets for throwing down $5 on the NBA. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. You'll start the season with an instant dub. And with DraftKings parlays, everyone's got a chance at even bigger basketball wins. String together multiple bets from the same game or build your parlay across multiple games for a shot at making your payday even sweeter. Basketball is more fun when you're in on the action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code SGP. New customers can get $200 in bonus bets instantly for betting just $5 only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code SGP. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resorts, Kansas. Licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles, Louisiana. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. All right, Terrell, let's get to the last game of the night. It's going to be the Orlando Magic, who are on a back-to-back in LA to take on the new look Clippers. Currently, as it stands, let me get the updated line here because it was 6.5. It is still sitting at 6.5 for this game. Total has slightly adjusted. That is now up to 221 in this game between these two squads. Surprising to see that total go up. Looking at the injury report for both of these teams, nothing yet for the Orlando Magic because they did play last night in LA against the Lakers. For the Clippers, Terrence Mann is out with a left ankle sprain. And we know about the guys that were traded that won't be available: Robert Covington, KJ Martin, Nick Batum, and then Norman Powell and Ivan Zubac are both questionable here tonight. Powell is dealing with left foot soreness, and then Zubac is dealing with a right thigh contusion. So Clippers definitely going to be a little thin in this game against the Orlando Magic. And like I mentioned, Orlando Magic lose last night to the LA Lakers by the score of, I believe it was 103, 106, if I'm not mistaken.
They're leading the majority of
yesterday.
that game, too.
Yeah, they just pretty much coughed it up again. And another come from behind victory for the LA Lakers last night. So minus 6.5 in favor of the Clippers here. Terrell, what are you thinking about this game?
Oh, this is easy. This is easy. This is easy. What? We are playing Orlando. You're telling me a Clippers team that's already hurt and everybody that wasn't hurt just went to Philly and they're on a plane heading out. I mean, it's a back-to-back. Yes, it's a back-to-back. And you have Orlando, who was 6 and 7 ATS on a back-to-back last year. I got to do a little bit more digging to see situations. I'll probably have that a little bit later and I'll tweet that out. But this is a young team. I'm not concerned about the back-to-back. It's the beginning of the season. They're healthy. Whereas you have this Clippers team that just traded everybody that was healthy and they're gone out the door. I mean, really, who's expected to play in this game for the Clippers? Like, I have to go through the roster and just kind of look and see, like, who was getting minutes that's still going to be here and be able to produce pretty well.
So obviously, Kawhi and Paul George.
Yeah. So I mean, you have the starters. I get what you're saying with the starters, but I get what. So you lose Batum.
Mm-hmm.
Who all was in the trade? You lost KJ Martin.
Robert Covington.
Okay, so those guys weren't playing that much. So it looks like it's going to be some rotation. Well, Robert Covington was started, so they're probably going to move what?
You're going to see Bones
Mason Plumlee,
like 30 minutes playing.
Norman Powell. Yeah, Norman Powell. Like Norman Powell's going in the starting lineup.
And he's questionable tonight.
So coming off the bench, you have Bones Highland and Mason Plumlee.
Yeah. I was looking for Bones Highland prop. We'll get to that in a minute, but I think he's going to play like 30 plus minutes tonight.
Yeah, I would get behind a Bones Highland props as well. Give me the Magic to keep this close. Keep it close. Oh, yeah. They might even get a win. They might even get a win against this Clippers team. I'm not saying this Clippers, like, this is just a really bad spot for a team that just traded so many people. All these questionables, and you have no idea. I say let's just get down on the Magic now. And if all these people play and they lose, you know what? It is what it is. I'll chop my hand up. Bad read. But I feel like we're getting to a point where they could completely punt this game. Like the Clippers could completely punt this game.
Well, let's also not forget, Terrell. Let's look at who the Clippers are playing tomorrow night.
Uh-oh. Who is the look ahead? Who is the look ahead?
Suspense.
What? No. That is not the look ahead. Oh, yeah. It is all day. Tomorrow night? Oh, this is an easy Magic money line spot.
They got the Lakers tomorrow.
Yes, they're completely looking ahead to the Lakers, trying to figure out who's going to actually play in that game, how they're going to. Yes, they're looking past. Give me Orlando Magic on the money line. Orlando probably winning at half. I'm going to take that because I'm concerned about them closing games out. This team is still talented, still young. I think Jamal Mosley is still a pretty decent head coach. And like we saw a lot of good things go well for them against the Lakers, where Paulo Banchero didn't really have a good game. You know, he was 4 for 14. They still found ways to get it done. Franz Wagner had a pretty solid game. You would have liked to see him be a little bit more efficient, but he added 16 points. Like nobody was in the 20-point mark for this team. You had a whole bunch of people in double figures, and that just kind of shows that this team that hey, they just keep getting the ball around and figuring out different combinations to put points on the board. So I think defensively, they're playing a lot better this year, and he's got them a little bit more locked in defensively. And I think that this could be the game where an offensive player rises to the crop, and it's probably going to be Paulo Banchero. Yeah, give me the Magic to get it done.
I like the Magic here too as well, man. I mean, like I said, the look ahead spot number one, and again, it's not a big travel situation for Orlando.
It's a zero traffic.
Yeah,
there's no travel.
They're just playing in the same gym the next night.
Yeah, like they're just coming back and playing another game, man. And these guys, like the average age on this team's got to be like 21. So
yeah,
man, I'm all over it.
So I like the Magic here as well. I like the Magic in the first half here as well. They've come out in their 3 games and they've been up at the half by a minimum. I think it's been either 4 or 5 points when I looked at it, but they've been coming out hot defensively, like you mentioned it, Terrell. I think the number one defensive rated team this season here. Let me see if I can find that again. I think they're number 1 because when I was handicapping this game last night. Yeah, so Orlando, number 1 defensive rated team, 99.7. Clippers are number 5, top 5 as well. So, like the Magic full game, like Magic first half to cover the spreads as well. Again, like Terrell said, mention sprinkle on that money line as well for the Orlando Magic. Getting over to the total here, it went up from 219 to 221. So there's some money coming in on the over in this game here, Terrell. But any thoughts on the total? I'm not sure you're not missing a lot of totals, but do you have any thoughts there?
Yeah, I'm still gonna go under. I think Magic have been playing a little bit better defense these days, and you know the Clippers can kind of lock in. You feels like defensively is where they need to lock in this game with the short staffed. Only concern is that the starters are going to play a bunch of minutes, but I just can't see him overly taxing Kawhi or Paul George in this game. Like that's how I think that you're going to get a lot of Norman Powell and Bones Highland minutes, and that rotation. Like I think the Magic can take advantage. I really do.
Yeah, 100%. I like the under in this game here as well. Both teams are top 5 at defensive rated, at least through the first 3 games of the regular season. Player props, the only one, like I mentioned, I was looking for is going to be Bones Highland, but I think we're going to be waiting until we find out about the availability of some of the other players for the Clippers, because I only see Kawhi and Kawhi right now as far as player props for the Clippers. But anything as far as player props in this game here for you?
Yeah, I think Paolo Banchero has a bounce back night. I think this is a bounce back night for him. Play bad against the Lakers, play good against the Clippers. Kaysen talking about his points prop at 16.5. I do think that's going to be probably, I agree with him. That's probably going to be the lowest it is this season. Yeah. And he's just too good. He really challenges this team inside the paint. And if there is no Zubac or they're missing one of Zubac or maybe it's Plumlee, like they lost a lot of size in that trade. So I think that Paolo Banchero can take advantage.
Yeah, I mean, he's gone off to a slow start here. 5-12 against Portland and then 4-14 against the Lakers last night. So we know that he's definitely going to bounce back, Paolo Banchero. Yeah, I didn't have much for props in this game. Again, like I mentioned, I'll be on Bones Highland props when that does drop probably closer to game time when we find out the availability for a lot of these players for the Clippers. All right, Terrell, let's get into our lock and dog, and then we'll also do an underdog entry here before we get out of here. You want to lead us off with your lock and dog?
Yeah, I can. For my lock, wow, that line just went down again in that Suns game. Man, maybe I'm on the wrong side there.
Yeah, it's not to 6.5 now, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of brutal. For my lock, I'm going to a prop. Devin Vassell, over 17.5. Stop disrespecting my guy. He's going to get to 20. He's going to be a 20 point per game scorer this year. That is the prediction. Devin Vassell, easy 20 point per game scorer. There's going to be lines where we're going to be getting this prop at 20.5 for majority of the season. So I'm taking 17.5 here. Absolutely. Devin Vassell, that's my lock. For my dog, come on, guys. So easy. I mean, I'm really just debating them if I want to do the full game or first half. I'm probably going to take both, but I'm going to just trust them for the full game because this Clippers team just finds ways. And you know what? No, Magic's still young. Give me the first half. Orlando Magic first half plus 165.
Yeah, that was going to be my dog for the night. The Magic in the first half on the money line.
You know what? I'll let you have it because I don't want a double dog. That's give me the full game.
Doesn't
Plus
work out.
250. Yeah, plus 250.
Okay. All right. So I'll take for my dog the Magic in the first half money line, and then for my lock, give me the Cavs, man, plus 2.5. That number, I know we're getting a bad number now, is at 3.5, but I think they find a way to get it done here at home. Defense, I think, steps up here tonight. Donovan Mitchell should have a big game. Expecting Mobley to have a big game as well. Looking for Max Strus to contribute as well. So I'll take the Cavs plus 2.5 as a home dog against the New York Knicks in this game. Before we get out of here, Terrell, let's put together a underdog entry. I think me and Scott went 2 of 3 yesterday. I think I was the one that found the lone loser in the, I think it was MPJ over on his rebounds. He just had a clunker of a night last night. But you mentioned Devin Vassell. We want to throw that in there?
Yep, 100%.
Okay, higher on Devin Vassell. I'm trying to find.
Let's go Spiders points.
Okay, let's do
or
Donovan
points and assists, something like that.
Let's see. So 30.5 points, and then points and assists is at 37.5. What do you think? I think points, man.
All right, let's roll it.
All right, and then I'll throw in, wasn't what we talked about, Wembanyama if they have his turnovers. Okay, I guess they don't have Victor. Oh yeah, they do. Damn it, they don't have it. God, did they have Strus up? No. Oh, Nurk. I liked his rebounds.
Yeah,
Nurkic rebounds.
Yeah,
9.5. All right, there we go. So underdog entry higher on Devin Vassell, 17.5. Donovan Mitchell higher, 30.5, and then Yusuf Nurkic higher, 9.5 rebounds for our underdog entry here for tonight. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the NBA Gambling Podcast. Terrell, anything else you want to mention, my man, before we get out of here?
No, man. Just make sure you check us out. For the 41 people in the stream, like the video on your way out. For the people that come in after the stream, like the video on your way out. And for everybody, all the people listening to us through your earways, leave us a 5-star rating and review. It can be bad, but just leave 5 stars.
Yeah, leave that 5-star. Just make sure, and if you want to bash us, go ahead and just bash us in the comments for sure.
Yeah.
But like Terrell said, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel here. Leave us a rating and review as well. We'll be back tomorrow for the Wednesday games. Will be Terrell and Scott tomorrow. Same time as usual. So tune in with us then. Make sure to follow Terrell on Instagram and Twitter or X, wherever you may want to call it, at reallyreal__. You can follow me on Twitter, X, at SportsNerd824. More importantly, follow the NBA Gambling Podcast Twitter/X account at SGPN NBA. All right, good luck with your bets here tonight. Let's break these books off and let it ride.